My childhood sweetheart, Simon, seems to have a special connection with the new female student. Everyone says that the aloof school heartthrob has finally fallen for her. That day, both the new girl and I were trapped in a fire. Without hesitation, Simon picked her up and carried her out. My 7-year crush finally came to an end. But later, when another guy confessed his feelings for me, Simon grabbed my wrist tightly, his voice subdued. "So, you've changed your mind so quickly, don't you like me?" he asked. I waited for Simon under the teaching building for over half an hour before he finally came out. "Simon," I ran up to him. He raised his hand and lightly touched my reddened cheek with his knuckles, frowning. "How long have you been waiting here?" he asked. "For over half an hour," I replied. Simon took my wrist and pulled me towards a nearby pavilion. "Aren't you afraid of getting sunburned?" he teased lazily, cooling my face with his hands. I leaned into his cool hands, feeling comfortable, before speaking up. "We don't have class on Saturday. How about we go to the aquarium?" I suggested. Unbeknownst to Simon, I planned to confess my feelings to him that day. His hand paused. "Actually, I've already made plans with someone else for Saturday." "You should find someone else." A bad feeling suddenly rose in my heart, and I tentatively asked, "Who did you make plans with?" "Bella," he replied. That was a name I've been hearing frequently from Simon's lips lately. She was his new female student. Recent rumors had been circulating around the school about her and Simon. Despite his usual indifference towards everyone, Simon had been surprisingly attentive to this particular new girl. Everyone was speculating that the single for 3 years campus heartthrob had finally fallen in love. Watching Simon walk away, I suddenly had a feeling of impending doom. My carefully planned confession would probably end in failure. That Saturday, I ended up going to the aquarium alone as planned, but to my surprise, I ran into Simon and Bella there. "What are you doing here?" Simon looked up at me. I noticed both of them wearing matching dolphin bracelets and forced a smile. "I told you a few days ago that I wanted to come to the aquarium," I said. Perhaps my tone was off, as Simon's face turned serious, looking at me as if asking, "What are you up to?" Bella blinked at me. "Let's go explore together." Before I could refuse, she confidently took my arm. A while later, I regretted not declining her offer earlier. As we passed by a booth, Bella and Simon were stopped by the vendor. Seeing them both with dolphin bracelets, while I had none, the vendor mistakenly assumed they were a couple. Bella tugged at Simon's sleeve. "Sorry, it's a misunderstanding." Simon asked her, "Do you like that stuffed dolphin?" Without a word, Bella's eyes lit up as she stared at the toy. I watched as Simon agreed to participate in the activity offered by the vendor. It was a simple activity, where the guy would carry the girl princess style and walk around the venue. As I stood by, watching Simon effortlessly lift Bella, the spectators around us whispered and some even discreetly took photos. Simon noticed and hugged Bella closer to prevent her face from being captured. Frowning, he looked disapprovingly at the cameras. His protective instincts were noticeable. My nose tingled with an unexpected memory. In the 10 years I'd known Simon, he had never carried me like that. In high school, when I sprained my ankle, he just waited with me until my dad came to pick me up. He had casually said, "Don't even think about asking me to carry you back. I don't carry any girls except for my girlfriend." I wondered if he had forgotten those words, or if he already considered Bella his girlfriend. I wanted to walk away, but the long-awaited dolphin show kept me rooted in place. I tried my best to ignore the two of them beside me, suppressing the sourness in my heart. Simon knew I loved dolphins, yet he didn't even bother to ask if I wanted the toy. During the show, as the dolphin leaped out of the water and splashed back in, drenching us, Simon stood in between me and Bella, shielding her from most of the spray, while I got completely soaked. "Are you okay? Did you get splashed?" Simon didn't even check himself, worriedly looking at Bella. "It's okay, Simon, you should dry off first." Only when the staff brought me a towel did I reply, "Sorry, the railing is broken, and it couldn't contain the water." "Thank you," I said, taking the towel. Only then did Simon and Bella turn to look at me, finally noticing that I was completely soaked too. "Amy, do you need a towel?" Bella hesitantly asked. Ignoring her, I began drying off the water on my own. "Amy, can't you hear when someone is talking to you?" Simon asked sternly. I took a deep breath, holding back the bitterness in my eyes, and met Simon's gaze head-on. "I already have a towel, couldn't you see that?" I retorted. Simon's eyes turned cold as he asked, "What exactly are you trying to do here?" "Bella asked you a question, and you're being rude," he scolded. "Enough with your princess attitude," his tone icy and mocking. "Besides your parents, no one should be indulging you. Apologize." Simon looked at me indifferently, demanding an apology. Bella intervened, trying to diffuse the tension. "That's just how Amy is," she said lightly. "I've grown used to it because of my family background. Teachers and classmates always look down on me, so being ostracized and bullied is normal. Don't mind her, I'm used to it. Simon's face turned pale, and Bella immediately interrupted him. Simon, your clothes are all wet. I'll take you to dry them, she said. Without looking at me, they left, with Bella pulling Simon away. I stood there, hair wet with a mix of water and tears running down my face. I pretended to wipe my face and silently walked out of the aquarium. It was probably because of the sudden change in weather that day, with the cold wind blowing continuously. When I got home, I developed a high fever. I didn't return to school until Monday. During that time, Simon called me once, but I didn't answer. I didn't respond to his messages either, so he decided to come to my house directly, finding his way to my room effortlessly. Have you recovered? He asked, pretending to check my forehead. I didn't have any unrealistic expectations. I thought he was there to care about my illness, but I didn't expect he was there to question and blame me. I turned my head away, as he reached for me and avoided his touch. Is there something you need? I asked. With a frown, Simon leaned against the wardrobe, looking down at me. Don't tell me you're still mad about that day, he asked. I felt suddenly exhausted and asked, what do you want me to do then? I admit I was wrong. Wrong to agree to go to the aquarium with them. Simon didn't let it go. Once you're better, you should apologize to Bella yourself. Frustrated, I clenched my hands under the blanket. Why should I asked. Simon chuckled lightly. Because your parents have recently asked for a favor from my family to acquire your company on the verge of bankruptcy. It's nothing major. Should I talk to your parents directly about it? I sat up, looking at him without blinking. Tears uncontrollably streamed down my face. Simon, we've known each other for 10 years. Are you really going to push me just because of this? He furrowed his brow. No need to put on a show. Bella was afraid you'd be angry that day. She didn't dry herself after getting wet to come see you, caught a cold, and has been on medication for 3 days. Shouldn't you be responsible for that? Upon hearing this, I couldn't shed another tear. I had a fever for 3 days, but in Simon's eyes, it didn't compare to his protege catching a cold. He even wanted to blame me for it. I had no choice. If I didn't agree to apologize, he would have my parents pressured me. No difference at all. I blinked and nodded. I understand. Simon looked at me for a couple of seconds, his tone suddenly softened. Amy, I didn't mean anything else. I just hope you learn to take responsibility for your actions. I didn't say anything else, and hid under the covers to shut out all the voices I didn't want to hear. After recovering and returning to school, I happened to run into Simon and Bella. I walked straight up to Bella and looked at her intently. Sorry, Bella. I shouldn't have snapped at you that day. I couldn't control my temper. Bella smiled gently and said, it's okay. I don't mind. I'm used to it anyway. For the second time, she emphasized her habit of being wronged, whether intentional or not. I couldn't be bothered to argue. I gave her a forced smile, and was about to leave when Simon grabbed my wrist as I passed by. Have you recovered? I immediately pulled away from him and took a step back. Yes, I'm fine, I replied calmly. I thought maybe I misunderstood Simon in the past, thinking he was different towards me. I shouldn't have expected anything. Simon stared at me, his eyes cloudy. What's wrong with you? He asked. I shook my head, trying to sound polite. Nothing, I'm going to the library. I won't bother you too. I couldn't afford to provoke Simon now. Avoiding him seemed like the best option. Simon's face hardened. What exactly are you insinuating? I couldn't understand why I graciously gave them space, yet Simon still seemed displeased. Bella glanced at me, her gaze momentarily darkening. Before I could get a clear look, Simon spoke again. You haven't changed at all. You never learned to respect others, he said disappointingly, looking at me before turning and walking away with Bella. For some time after that, I didn't initiate contact with Simon at all. He seemed busy spending time with Bella. At first, I was saddened. Occasionally, I thought of the close moments between him and me, when Simon was genuinely good to me. I thought this Cold War would continue endlessly, with Simon and I having no intersection. However, Bella was not satisfied with just that. On a Friday night, I left the library past 10:30 p.m. The street was almost deserted. That day, I stumbled upon a bullying scene. 2 girls held Bella down, while another one slapped her repeatedly, berating her. Bella's face was swollen from the hits. It was the only way to my dorm room, and I hid in the distance, feeling nothing, but wanting them to end it quickly so I could go back. Fortunately, after a few minutes, seeing Bella not resisting, they lost their anger and left her there. Bella sat on the ground and suddenly spoke up. You've seen enough, right? I casually came out and said, I'm not interested in your affairs. I was just passing by. She laughed lightly and said, do you think she really hit me because I told the teacher, right? Bella touched her hair. She was mad because her boyfriend was showing interest in me. I'm not upset, she said. This just proves that as long as I stand there, tons of guys will come forward to flirt with me, including Simon. She smiled. A shiver ran down my spine. It has nothing to do with me. Bella didn't seem as innocent as she appeared on the surface. I didn't want to hear her twisted theories. I was about to turn and leave when she suddenly acted crazily, rushing over to grab me. You like Simon, don't you? What will you do, then? But he likes me, she exclaimed. She looked at me, lips curled in a smile. I was caught off guard and pushed her away. Are you crazy? Bella suddenly seemed unable to stand and fell to the ground. I hesitated. I didn't push her hard. Amy, I froze. The voice behind me was all too familiar. Simon stepped past me and ran to Bella, helping her up. He gently parted Bella's hair and saw the injury on her face. His look when he glanced at me was particularly cold. I didn't hit her. Don't look at me like that. Simon didn't respond to my defiance, just quietly asked Bella, did she hit you? Bella smiled faintly, tears in her eyes. It's okay, Simon, she indirectly admitted. I snorted, believe it or not. Just as I was about to leave, Simon blocked my way. I won't apologize, Simon. Why should I apologize for something I didn't do? His voice was detached. It's fine. I stood still, feeling uneasy. Bella, come here. He called Bella over, hit her back, Simon said. I stared at Simon, repeatedly confirming, is this the childhood friend I grew up with? Simon looked down at me. Your parents have spoiled you, making you this way, even bullying others. I clenched my hand tightly, face pale. Do you really think I could have caused these injuries by myself? But he didn't believe me. Just thought I was trying to make excuses. His voice was devoid of any warmth. I don't want to fight with you, he said to me. I looked at Bella blankly, asking in a hoarse voice, what do you want? Bella suddenly burst into tears without warning. She walked up to me and slapped me. You're rich, you're a princess. I'm so poor, I struggle to pay my tuition. If you hit me, can I fight back? Can I afford your medical expenses? Remember the aquarium day, you said it yourself. If you and Simon are childhood friends, I won't bother you. Why do you have to resort to violence? She cried out to me. Just because I'm poor and less well off than you can treat me like this. I couldn't contain my anger, shaking with rage. I raised my hand to slap back, but Simon grabbed my wrist. Amy, he looked at me like I was a stranger. You need to learn a lesson too. As soon as he finished speaking, he threw me to the ground. I watched as they walked away, mumbling quietly. Simon, these 10 years, I might as well have known a dog. But today's events won't end here. The moonlight dim, his figure only hesitated for a moment, not looking back. The road was too desolate, with no security cameras, and those 3 girls wouldn't confess to hitting someone themselves. I was at a loss for words. After a while, I got up from the ground and walked silently towards the dormitory. When I reached the bottom floor, Simon was standing under the streetlight, looking uneasy. I didn't even spare him a glance, my steps unrelenting. However, Simon walked straight up to me, blocking my path. Get lost, I said weakly. He forcefully placed a tube of ointment in my hand. Then, he raised his hand to touch the red mark on my face. I dodged. He frowned, lips pressed tightly. You made Bella look like that, so I'm just letting her slap you back. Amy, stop making a scene. As soon as he finished speaking, Simon's phone rang. He answered, and I could hear the affected voice on the other end. Simon, my wound hurts. Can you come and keep me company? Simon hung up the phone and immediately walked away. Just a few steps out, he seemed to remember me, turned back to look at me. His eyes were gentle, comforting. Remember to go back and apply the ointment. He seemed in a hurry, not waiting for my reply before running off. I looked down at the ointment in my hand. I let go slightly, dropping the ointment on the ground. I didn't even glance at it, walking past him. I once thought about taking Simon to that little restaurant to eat, but he impatiently refused me. He said, can't you go by yourself? My schedule is almost full with classes every day. Later, when I wanted to go by myself, I saw him and Bella sitting at a table through the window of the store. He said he was busy, but willing to make time for Bella. I never went back to that restaurant. Now, I don't even want to go. And Simon probably just said it casually. The next day, he didn't come looking for me, but I found some rare relief. Simon was always using my parents' situation to blackmail me, like a towering mountain, suffocating me. But skipping Simon and confronting Bella, I could still do that. That day, I happened to have class on the same floor as Bella. After class, I dragged her to a secluded place and slapped her twice, sharply. I hit you. What are you going to do? Call the police. Aren't you afraid I'll tell Simon again? She covered her face, staring at me fiercely. Go ahead, I said. Call him over. He won't lay a finger on you. Just let you hit me. There is surveillance here. I hit you. I can pay for it. Can you? Just like you said, you have to scrape together your tuition. Besides, she dared not bother Simon too many times, afraid of testing his patience. With no one to rely on in this school, Bella stared at me intensely, with a gaze full of resentment. I sneered, turned around, and walked away. I thought the matter would end there, but I had momentarily overlooked her vengeful character. When I was struggling for breath in the fire, I really regretted slapping her earlier. I was assisting my senior brother in the chemistry lab that day. He went to another building to get some materials, leaving me to clean up the scene. The building had not been repaired for a long time, with windows and doors that had issues. As I was capping the alcohol lamp, Bella walked in and casually closed the door. "Did you spread that rumor?" she asked out of the blue. I was not in the mood to deal with her unwarranted questioning. I just irritably glanced towards the door. "The lock is broken. If you close the door now, we can't open it from the inside," I informed her. But she seemed to ignore what I said, and just stared at me intently. "Now everyone is blaming me. Are you happy?" she continued. I had heard about the recent rumors about Bella, saying that she was trying to seduce someone else's boyfriend. Frankly, she couldn't have not known that the 3 girls from that night were the main suspects. But she didn't want to provoke those few social outcasts, so she decided to vent her anger on me. Amused, I asked, "Are you suffering from persecution delusions, Bella?" "Bella, please don't come to me acting all pathetic every time," I warned. "Simon spoils you, that's his business. If you keep pushing me, I'll do anything, and I won't let you off." Bella clenched her lips tightly, as if she was about to bite them off. I hesitated for a moment, feeling like she had lost her mind. While I was still in shock, she suddenly walked up to me, without warning, and gave me a hard shove. I stumbled backwards, accidentally knocking over the alcohol lamp. The 3 lamps collided, sparks flew, igniting a fire that splattered onto the nearby curtains. The windows were precarious, with large gaps that allowed the chilling wind to fan the flames, causing them to spread instantly. I couldn't stop it in time. In an instant, the flames engulfed the entire curtain, and then quickly spread outwards. The door was next to the window. Bella and I were forced to retreat to the corners of the room, with me in the front corner and her in the back. 2 tables separated us. Under one of the tables, God knows what flammable materials were stored, and a small flame instantly grew into a larger one, spreading across the table and forming a half-wall of fire. Trembling, I reached for my phone, fighting fear to call the fire department. Bella was also terrified, and she immediately called Simon. The black smoke seeping out of the window attracted onlookers. Some called the fire department, while others went to find a teacher. No one dared to come up, except for Simon, but the fire was already out of control. "Simon, I'm here," Bella shouted immediately. I locked eyes with Simon through the flames. "Simon, save me." Setting aside all past grievances, I instinctively sought help. I was scared too. I didn't want to die. Bella was far from the flames. She still had ample time, but the burning light fixture above me was about to fall. "Simon, can you, for the sake of our 10-year friendship, just this once, save me first?" The door lock had warped under the high temperature and wouldn't budge. "Unless you break it down." "Simon, I'm so scared," Bella cried. Simon snapped out of it, staring deeply at me. "Amy, wait for me," he said, and ran towards the back door. He chose to save Bella first. When the burning light fixture above me fell, I couldn't dodge it. I woke up in pain. I was lying face down on the hospital bed, avoiding pressure on the wound on my back. Simon was sitting by my bed with his eyes closed. As soon as I moved, he woke up. "Amy," Simon gently helped me sit up. He knelt in front of me, his face showing fatigue, but he still managed a comforting smile. "Do you want water? Or is your body hurting? Let me call the doctor for you. Where are my parents?" My voice, which had not spoken for a long time, was particularly hoarse. "They are busy with the acquisition deal at a critical moment. They can't leave. I told them I'll be here taking care of you in the hospital." I looked quietly at Simon for a long time. "Simon, I had a dream. I dreamed of the earthquake in 4th grade, when I was squeezed by the crowd and couldn't get out. It was you who ran against the crowd, pulled me up, and led me out of the teaching building. There were several times that day when I almost got pushed out of the crowd, but you held my hand tightly, and you never let go. Since then, I have regarded you as one of the most important people in my life." Simon's face visibly paled. He trembled, as if he wanted to hold my hand. "I'm sorry, Amy. I'm so sorry. It's all my fault." I didn't let him touch my hand. I continued in a calm tone. "After all, you really had no obligation to save me first. It's never wrong to save the person you care about first. But Simon, I can't help but mind." He seemed speechless, just looking at me bewilderedly. I spoke again, settling the final matter between us. "That night, I didn't provoke Bella at all. Whether you believe it or not, there was no evidence. You took her word over mine, and made me suffer a slap for nothing. I gave her one back later, and today, I'm giving one back to you, too." After saying that, I slowly raised my hand, wincing slightly from the pain in my back. I pursed my slightly chapped lips, with no emotional fluctuations in my heart. I slapped him. He took it, then looked at me with an extremely fake expression of regret and worry, which made me feel disgusted. "Be careful of your strained back," he said mockingly. "Get lost, Simon. Don't show up in front of me again. It's useless to threaten me with my parents this time." Before Simon could respond, a voice from the door interrupted us. "Senior sister, if you're feeling better, can I ask you to stay away from my boyfriend? He has no obligation to take care of you." Bella stood at the door, giving me a helpless smile. Apparently, they were already together. Simon looked at me, opened his mouth as if to explain something, but then fell silent after a moment. "Bella," I smiled, "take your boyfriend and get out. Watching you two for even a second is disgusting." And under the dim light, I looked at the girl who looked pure on the outside, but with a rotten heart. I looked into her eyes. People have to take responsibility for what they have done, don't you agree? She can stand here confidently in front of me. It means the school hasn't had time to investigate, or doesn't have enough evidence about the lab fire incident. Though the cameras inside the lab were destroyed, there was one in the corridor directly facing the entrance. It might have recorded some scenes from back then. At least, Bella started the whole thing by causing me to knock over the alcohol lamp, so she can't escape. It's clear she tampered with something. I looked down at the shadow Bella cast on the floor. She visibly flinched. "Bella, are you scared too?" Simon used to come around in the first few days, but I didn't let him into the hospital room. I don't remember when he stopped showing up. The scar on my back started to heal and grow new flesh. Every night, my back would start to ache and itch, tormenting me until almost dawn. Maybe Bella forgot, or maybe she just didn't take my warning seriously. That night, as I endured not scratching the new flesh on my back, sweat beaded on my forehead. Suddenly, my phone by the pillow lit up. I unlocked it to see a message from an unknown number with a photo attached. Simon was holding Bella, leaning down to kiss her. To be honest, any jealousy or envy had long dissipated, but Bella's blatant provocation that night completely ignited me. Someone had to pay the price. But before I could confront them, Simon appeared before me again. I called my parents to say I was going back to school to pack some things, and would be recovering at home in the near future. Little did I know that Simon was standing nearby and overheard the conversation. He took it upon himself to help me pack up my dorm room. And that's when he found my diary. It was filled with every little detail of how I fell for Simon when I was 17. Simon rushed into my house, ignoring the maid's greetings for the first time. He pushed open the door to my room, red-eyed, staring at me, holding the diary. All my embarrassment was instantly laid bare, but it was just for a moment before I calmed down. Simon's grip on the notebook made his veins pop. "You've liked me since you were 17. He stared at me intensely and with complexity. I met his gaze and simply said, "But I stopped liking you the first time you ditched me at the aquarium, and completely lost interest the last time you left me in the fire." I blinked my slightly sour eyes. I felt a pang of sadness for this quietly extinguished teenage crush. I didn't realize his voice was terribly hoarse. Simon took a step toward me, knelt by the side of my bed, furrowed his brow, murmuring to himself. I never noticed. Even if one tries to hide fervent love, it always escapes from their eyes. But you never paid attention to my eyes. They were always filled with Bella. I no longer felt the need to complain to him. "Don't make that face, Simon. You and Bella look perfect together. A match made in heaven." Simon looked up suddenly, shaking his head with a wry smile. "I guess I don't like her as much as I thought." I started to doubt after she was assaulted. She seemed different from the girl I knew. The Bella in Simon's eyes was innocent, gentle, and naive. But when Bella slapped him, it revealed her vengeful nature. Cracks started to show in Simon's filter of her. When a girl does something she doesn't like, she's out. He's not as good as you think he is. And the only reason he's still with Bella is because he still has hope for his little white flower. The filter hasn't completely shattered yet. That day, Simon looked at me for a long time with a complex expression. No matter how harshly I spoke, he accepted it all. In the end, he just left me with a cryptic remark. Leaning against the door, Simon smiled bitterly. "Amy, what should I do? I think I've messed up a lot of things." I had no obligation to give him an answer, just determined to make him leave. Simon held my diary and asked softly, "I haven't finished reading it. Can I borrow it for a couple more days?" I didn't care. It was just trash anyway. "Even if you return it, I will throw it away. It was just garbage filled with affection for garbage." He lowered his head, looking at the notebook, and whispered softly, "It's not." After my scar had mostly healed, I went back to school. All the unfairness I had endured needed to be addressed in some way. Bella told Simon that I had hit her, and whether he believed me didn't matter anymore. I didn't need to prove my innocence to him, but I couldn't just let the slap go unanswered. I sought out the girl who had hit Bella that day. The enemy of my enemy might not become a friend, but they can become temporary allies. She provided me with the information I needed, and she didn't hesitate to tell me that it was indeed Bella who had spread the rumors. The girl's words were harsh. According to her, Bella had been involved with many boys, but had recently stopped, probably because she was serious with Simon. Simon disappeared for several days. It wasn't until a week later that I saw him in a picture with Bella. I don't know if it was just my imagination, but Simon looked completely lost, and I fixated on the crimson mark on his fingertips. It was the first time I saw him smoking. Bella tried to hug him, but he dodged her, so she settled for holding his hand instead. I stood in the shadows not far away, took a picture of this scene, and sent it to a few unknown numbers. One of them belonged to the boyfriend of the girl who had hit Bella. Bella had admitted herself that she was hit because of her flirtatious behavior with this boy, who attended a nearby school. The rest were all boys who had flirted with Bella in the past. About half an hour later, 3 guys showed up. At first, it was just verbal confrontation, but things escalated quickly with some pushing and shoving. One of the guys even slapped Bella, a hefty slap that knocked her to the ground and made her nose bleed. Simon, on the other hand, remained cold and indifferent throughout, only showing a slight frown when Bella got hit. More and more people gathered around, some even sneaking videos to post online, ruining Bella's reputation. The truth that the surveillance camera outside the lab had recorded everything, but mysteriously didn't save the footage, came to light. One of the guys Bella was involved with was a computer science student. He had been pursuing Bella for 6 months without success until this incident. Bella used the chance to make a deal with him, asking him to illegally hack into the school's security system to transfer the incriminating video elsewhere. Yes, she asked for a transfer, not a deletion. However, the guy was cautious and kept evidence in case Bella turned on him. Realizing who Bella truly was, he confessed to the whole scheme and handed over the original videotape, landing Bella in hot water. While he only faced a few days of detention and criticism for coming clean, Bella's fate turned out much worse. Someone compiled all her misdeeds and exposed them online, leading to widespread public outcry and demands for her expulsion. Unable to bear the pressure, the school gently advised Bella to leave before the police took her away. Bella, who once prided herself on attracting so many guys, found herself reaping what she had sown. Before leaving, Bella sought out Simon again, but I happened to run into her. She grabbed Simon's sleeve, tears streaming down, pleading not to break up. She insisted she had never liked those guys, or had anything with them, claiming she only had feelings for Simon. But Simon coldly pulled his sleeve back, telling Bella that he didn't seem to like her anymore. Each of Simon's words drained the color from Bella's face. As Simon walked away, leaving her standing there, her cries grew louder, and her pain seemed genuine. Bella had finally faced the consequences of manipulating others' feelings, only to fall for someone who didn't reciprocate her feelings. Simon later learned the truth about Bella's assault incident. Without needing any prompting, he found me and confessed his mistake. Suddenly, he grabbed my hand and slapped himself hard. I furrowed my brows, pulling my hand back, questioning his actions. He continued to stare obsessively at me, offering to let me slap him as much as I wanted, with a faint plea for forgiveness. Impossible, I firmly refused, not willing to entertain any further entanglement. Simon, deeply troubled, started frequenting bars, carrying a pack of cigarettes in his bag, straying from his former image of perfection. One day, my roommate dragged me to the field where a grand confession scene awaited me, attended by a crowd of onlookers. I was the one being confessed to by a junior whom I barely remembered. Clutching a large bouquet of Bulgarian roses, he nervously stuttered out his affections for me. After a brief hesitation, Simon forcibly pulled me to a secluded spot, reeking of alcohol, but with an uncharacteristically clear and cold gaze. Holding my wrist tightly, he spoke harshly, questioning my intentions regarding the confession. When I slapped him in response to his presumptuous remarks, Simon's demeanor shifted. He almost brought our noses together, demanding to know how he could earn my forgiveness, and claiming he would do anything for me, his eyes betraying a hint of tears. Mumbling the most humble words, but still acting tough and paranoid. "Please, Amy, don't treat me like this." Seeing the completely different guy in front of me calmed me down. "Simon, you abandoned me 3 times for Bella. If you can make those 3 times never happened, I will forgive you. There's a deep gap between me and Simon. He keeps trying to build bridges, but it's all in vain." He looked at me with no room for argument. I finally broke free from his grip. Without waiting for his response, I turned and left. After walking for a while, I suddenly remembered something and looked back. Simon was still standing there, watching me leave. It seems like everything has turned upside down since he found that notebook. The one left behind was him, but I wasn't happy because of this. Instead, I felt tired and annoyed by his persistence. This winter seemed especially long. Around the time of the holidays, my parents' acquisition case was also wrapping up. We were going to move out of our original villa. Finally being able to get away from Simon a little bit, I finally found something to be happy about. I was so happy that I didn't even notice when he stopped appearing by my side. It wasn't until I received a call from Simon's mom. She was sobbing, "Amy, can you come and see Simon? Auntie really doesn't know what to do. Simon was injured, burned." Simon's mom told me that half a month ago, Simon was passing by a residential building. A fire broke out on the 3rd floor. A girl was trapped inside and the fire department hadn't arrived yet. He rushed in like a madman to rescue the girl, but ended up with severe burns all over his arm. "Amy, Simon has been weighed down by the fact that he couldn't save you from the fire in time. He must have thought of you. That's why he risked his life to save a stranger." Simon's mom pleaded. "Please, help me, come and see Simon." I hated Simon, but I couldn't ignore Simon's mom, who had always been kind to me. Seeing Simon again was extremely complicated for me. He was half leaning on the bed, weak and dejected. "Amy, now I finally understand. It's really tough," he said with a wry smile. "For the first few days, I couldn't sleep at night because of the pain. Then it finally healed, but it started itching like worms crawling up my arm. Yeah, I was like that too. Sometimes I thought I should just chop it off." He looked at his arm, speaking calmly as if he was really considering it. Rubbing my forehead wearily, I sighed. "Simon, stop doing these self-pitying things. Even if you save a countless number of people trapped in fires, it has nothing to do with me. Can you make my scars never exist? Then what should I do, Amy?" He looked at me in a daze. "You tell me, what should I do?" I looked out at the sunlight and felt a warmth spreading. After a few seconds of contemplation, I spoke slowly. "Simon, liking someone should make them happy, right?" Our eyes met again. "But your actions don't make me happy at all. They just trouble me. This kind of affection is too twisted. If you continue like this, I might have to drop out of school to avoid you. I shouldn't have to pay for your regrets." When he heard that I might drop out, he involuntarily tensed up. His hand unconsciously grabbed the blanket. Simon lowered his eyes and nodded. "I won't bother you anymore, and I'll try not to appear in front of you." "Amy, can you not drop out?" he asked me, meekly as if he was in the dust. I didn't like seeing him like this. It gave me the feeling that he was the victim. I turned my eyes away without answering. Just before leaving, I emphasized one last time, "Please, don't bother me anymore." "Simon, I understand." I breathed a sigh of relief only after leaving Simon's villa. The inexplicable annoyance in my heart also dissipated. The warm noon sun gently enveloped me, melting away the chilly feeling. I reached out my hand to feel the warmth. The last trace of coldness was about to disappear. This winter seems like it's finally coming to an end.